How's it going, YouTube? It's a bright and sunshiny Thursday morning. It is cold still here in Ohio. It's supposed to get warmer, at least for this part of Ohio, later today, and then it's going to be warmer in the low 60s, high 50s for the next few days. So spring is trying to spring, which is nice because it's almost bloody April and it should be warmer by now, but the weather is the weather, and she is often fickle. So it is what it is. We just make the best of what we can. Anyway, for a change of pace, I am not talking about the Baltimore Bridge collapse. I am not talking about Donald Trump. Instead, I'm talking about the freight market and some interesting news I got in an OOIDA mail blast that came in yesterday, in which OOIDA, according to the data that they're tracking, that they're receiving, that they're tabulating, they are seeing some positive signs in the freight market, which is good news, I guess. But here's the kicker. Even though they're presenting data in a way that has nomenclature and terminology and ratings that, to me, don't really translate into a fashion that's easily, spoken about beyond the general terms. The impression that I'm getting, or that OOIDA seems to be getting from the data that they sent to me as part of the email blast, and I'm now regurgitating to you in a manner of speaking, is that we are at the bottom of the downturn, hopefully, or if we're not, we are very close to it. But here's the kicker. This is where it really gets interesting. What they are saying also in the end of all of this, even though the trends that they're seeing seem to indicate that we've reached the bottom of the curve, the bottom of the downturn, they're seeing signs of the freight market stabilizing here being the key word, the word that they used. They see the freight market stabilizing with rates below a sustainable level, which is not the news that any of us want to hear right now. But then again, this is as of the data that they've seen for their March e-blast. The freight market, by their assessment, is stabilizing, but it's stabilizing with rates below a sustainable level. So it's still going to be a lot of tough sledding ahead for a lot of us all throughout the entirety of 2024. And I'm sure a lot of us have expected this. Like we either already were speaking about this. I know I've spoken about this in the last few months, where I expect 2024 to be a pretty tough year, but with some positives along the way. I'm sure other trucking YouTube channels have spoken about this as well. And I know, industry folks like the guys over at Freight Waves or other industry news publications have already addressed this, spoken about this in capacity, but to have the hard data that substantiates that, at least the hard data as interpreted by OOIDA and how they're looking at data that they're seeing from the sources that they're pulling from, that's less than fun to have that confirmed, because to be honest, I was really hoping that the bottom of the curve would then speak to an upturn as capacity continued to right size, and as there were hopeful signs that manufacturing would pick up and other things would begin to pick up and kind of get back to normal, that things would be better sooner. But the reality is things are not going to get better sooner. It's still going to be pretty tough coming up here, which, not fun, not good news, but it is what it is. This is the tough sledding we're going to have to work ourselves through here, because those of us who were able to make it through 2022 and the big fuel price crunch, price gouging really, combined with dirt poor rates, those of us who survived that, as long as we can be intelligent about how we spend, keep up with our truck maintenance, find those niches in the market where we can carve out a pretty good, well, at least a decent enough margin we can survive, we're going to be okay. Long term. Short term, a lot of pain. Long term, should be okay. Short term, again, unpleasant. So, if you're not on the OOIDA's mailing list, it wouldn't be a bad idea for you to be on that, because even if you don't have anything really positive to say about some of the larger industries that represent trucking, like OOIDA or especially ATA, it's not out of order to be looking to be aware of the information that they're putting out there. And I'm sure that there's some nuances that they wrote in their e-blast that I'm not properly retelling or that I'm missing. But the general impression I got is that we're in for a tough year. A stable year, potentially a stable year, but still going to be a tough year. So, by all means, we're not out of the woods yet, but that doesn't mean that it's all gloom and doom and, terrible everything. There is going to be some sunshine and, some cakes and cheeses out there for all of us. We just got to be very careful, look very carefully, work very carefully, and make sure we're dealing with folks, at all levels who, will pay their bills appropriately, like the right brokers, solvent brokers, reliable brokers, working with quality factoring companies who won't gouge you. If you're working with a dispatch company, making sure that they're, a quality outfit. There's rumblings running around about, with FMCSA going to be doing away with NC numbers as a primary identifier in order to cut down on fraud. That could have some repercussions on dispatchers as well as freight forwarders. And what I'm hoping is going to happen is it's going to cut down on all those calls I get from the Indian call centers. It's like, guys, come on, you still keep blowing up my phone. I still keep ignoring your phone calls because I know someone calling me from Wyoming isn't going to be anyone I want to talk to unless I know I've got some business to do with someone from Wyoming. You're just spoofing numbers from Bangladesh or wherever trying to get into my business. I'm not going to fall for it. And with FMCSA coming up with their crackdown here, I'm hoping you guys evaporate, quite honestly. But that's down the road. So it's going to be an interesting year to see how things shake out. But there's a lot of work to be done, and a lot of work is going to begin appearing, I think. I mean, there's always going to be opportunities out there, and people are always looking to make good money. And at the end of the day, no matter what, this is the one critical aspect that every trucker can sleep easy with. No matter what, when you get down to it, anyone who produces a physical good, a physical material, a physical product, that product, some way, somehow, has to get onto a truck. And it has to move on a truck. Doesn't matter if it's a pickup truck or a box truck or a hot shotter or, dry van, flatbed, doesn't matter. End of the day, anyone who produces anything physical that needs to be transported is getting on a truck. That means we will have work. We just got to be ready to capitalize on new opportunities as they appear, and it's gonna get better. It will get better. It is impossible for it not to get better. There is way too much versatility, flexibility, and greed in the U.S. economy and the global economy, quite frankly, and whoever is going to be getting greedy is going to be creating opportunities for us to profit, because at some point they're going to need someone to move something, and that's where we come in. So don't lose heart, don't lose faith, keep your head up, stand tall, steer properly, keep the rubber side down, as Smart Trucking likes to say, and I'll see you down the road. Take care.